Welcome, everyone. This is week 3 of our Join the Club. We're getting all educated here so that we can go help other people, not just make a difference in their health, but make a difference financially for their family and help other people's families as well. So everybody's on board. You guys waved a minute ago, so just do it again. Well, I wasn't on record. So thank you for coming. The last 2 weeks, in case you want a quick overview, the first week we talked about fear, and we talked about the main 3 fears, which are fear of looking stupid. Raise your hand if you have experienced that before. I experienced it today. Fear of rejection. Boop. Fear of success. Anybody? What if they find out when you're successful that you really didn't know everything? Whoops. So anybody? Has anybody done anything about that fear? Like I told you guys, I made those 100 videos and now I haven't done any more videos, but I am going to. Anybody else want to speak to that? I've talked to a couple of you about it, but I don't know if you want to fess up on recording, but if you do, it could help other people too. Working on those fears.
Yeah, Mary, I did.
What did you do?
Fear of what people think, judgment.
Yes.
This thing we do.
How do you get through that? How do you get, you can't really get over it. It keeps showing its rearing its ugly head, but how do you get through it?
It does, but it's a mindset thing. It's not caring because you're so focused and you have a strong enough why, and you know that they're not in my home making my family's decisions. They're not living my life. So
there you go.
I'm not letting them decide what's right for me.
That is good. So you're not letting other people make the decision for you. You're just going to do it anyway. All right. Herb, you had your hand raised. Did you want to share anything?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think for me, the fear of looking stupid has been a part of my whole life, actually. And, even in my career at work, I always made sure I never put myself into positions where I would look stupid. So with Juice Plus, I procrastinated for a long time because of that fear. And, when you hear it enough, that, possibly somebody in your life can, or maybe would have benefited if you just shared, the story. And then also, I forget where I heard it, but, I don't know how many, like 30 billion people in the whole world. And we're not looking to please all of them. We're looking to create our own little tribe. And, part of creating that tribe is hearing no from a lot of people that aren't interested in being in your tribe. And that's okay. I'm finally kind of okay with that.
I love it, Herb. I love it. I remember one of the things, if y'all were just on, you saw Will, and he is a really good hockey player. And one of the things we used to talk about a lot is, are you playing to win? Or are you playing not to make mistakes? That's a whole different hockey game when you play to win rather than play not to make mistakes. So think about that for all of you who are sports fans. I know we got quite a few football fans in the audience. So think about that in your favorite football player. Yes, Jeanette. And do they play to win or do they play not to lose? So let's play to win. And just like Herb said, you never know. Wayne Gretzky said it, you'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And just like Herb said, what about the people that are waiting to hear, So sometimes, Eric Worre tells us, sometimes you have to give up that social esteem. He says temporarily, I say permanently, so that you can move forward, because you never know when it's going to happen, So anybody else have a comment about fear? And go ahead and brag on yourself, because it's a big deal if you've busted through and kicked it to the curb.
Okay, I can.
Okay.
So my fear is that success is going to take more of my time, and I don't have a lot of extra time. But so this week, I had a great connection call with Karen, my upline, and we planned out some things I was going to do. But the biggest thing is I started asking for help from my people who live in my home, and I'm not very good at doing that. And so I did it today, and I got more work in today, plus other stuff, besides the other things. And yeah, I've just decided I'm going to be successful and push through this. And it's not going to take more of my time. I just have to work smarter, not harder.
What a great story. What a great story. Thank you, Brianna.
For me,
Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. Just
I would say for me, it's self-doubt. I can sign up and train for a marathon and not have any doubts I'll be able to cross the finish line. But I doubt myself financially that I can actually overcome these hurdles and be able to accomplish what I need to in order to provide financially in this. And so that's where I'm thankful that I have a team that keeps encouraging and pushing me forward. So whenever I get self-doubt, I get invited to a Zoom call or take a Eric Rory class. So I don't want it to hold me back, but that is really where I feel like my feet are in concrete.
wow. Well, good for you for I really applaud you guys for giving this some thought, because then you can conquer it, you know? I bought a computer yesterday, and when I was checking out, I asked the kid, I go, do you make commission, or are you paid by the hour? And he said, oh, paid by the hour, it's way better. I go, really? I go, you don't want to get paid for what you're worth? And he just looked at me because he's like a teenager and he didn't think about that. I said, yeah. So yeah, I want you all to get paid for what you're worth. I don't want your feet in concrete, for sure. So keep showing up. Things happen. Mel, you had your hand up. What were you going to say?
Just talking about when you guys were talking about fear. I told Terry that I have a lot of girlfriends that I hang out with all the time, and they all know I take Juice Plus, but I've never had the courage to invite any of them. And I invited like 4 of them to the salad party on the 7th. And I think maybe 2 of them are coming.
That is awesome. I'm so proud of you, Mel. That is so hard, because I still struggle with some of my high school people I went to high school with. That is awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anybody else? I heard somebody else. Vicky.
Mary, I was just going to say, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I think, and someone else said it, mindset, but I think catching yourself on what you're thinking, catching yourself on what you're saying to yourself, if it feeds into those fears. Like, I was told that I wasn't smart growing up, and it took me a long time to get over that. And I still am, but I remember making that transition in my thinking, and then finally coming out the other side and saying, I actually am smart. I understand things, I can do things. And so just catching yourself in how you're thinking and turning that around.
Yes, absolutely. That's where it starts. Anybody else? Yes,
Jamie.
Jamie.
Oh, just real quick, mine's similar to Brianna's. I talked to Karen about how time is my biggest factor with my full-time job, and we just kind of brainstormed I need to be more intentional with my time and carve more time out of my week. And so I've been doing that better the last few weeks now that I'm part of this class.
I love it. Well, I give all of you and myself full permission to be in charge of your money and to be in charge of your calendar. Your calendar is not your boss, and your money is not your boss. You are the boss. So just a different way to think, huh, Vicky? Anybody else? Okay, so the second thing we did the second week is we talked about reaching out to people, like just saying, hey, how are you? What's up? I'm thinking about you. I was praying for you. How are you doing? And the recommendation, or the homework, if you will, was to reach out to 50 people or 100 people. I know if it made you sweat, good. I want you to sweat a little bit. 50 or 100, and see what happens. See if that helps you kick some of that fear to the curb. See if it actually sets you up for conversations with people. Just see what happens. See how many people answer you, etc. So I did my 100 reach outs, but I didn't finish them till today. So I've gotten 48 people respond to me, and one person made it to Partner Plus. I have 2 people, one more that may, and 2 people that want to order, and I didn't do any inviting. I was just reaching out. So that's that. I also got about 3 people that I sent an invitation for tonight, which I didn't count any invitations at all, but I sent invitations for tonight's events, and I got 3 people to tell me to stop. So I had to remind myself that happens sometimes. And so I'm really glad I did it. So anybody else want to talk about their experiences with their invitations? So I got about half of my people respond. And it's okay if you didn't do 100. I just told y'all to do 100. So I was going to knock myself out doing 100 because I couldn't tell you guys to do it if I didn't do it.
Sherry, this is Sherry.
Yes, Sherry.
I'll tell you about my invite. So I use TeamZ to keep track of my people, and I hashtag yoga on all the people that I have invited to yoga, that asked about yoga or wanted to come to yoga but never could come. And so I worked through all of those, and I tried to keep it as simple as possible. And most of the people responded, yep, that day works. Nope, keep me on the list. And it was a really great experience because I made a simple flyer, and all I said was, it's time for yoga again. Can you join me? Do you want to come? And it was just really simple and easy. And I wanted to put it in Project Broadcast, to be honest with you, but I felt like coming from Project Broadcast, a lot of those people don't have my Project Broadcast number. I didn't want to take time to do it, but
Right.
And because I wanted, some of those people I hadn't talked to in over a year. So I felt like I had to kind of reconnect the relationship first and then invite them to it. So it went really well. And man, using those hashtags in TeamZ really does save time, because I wouldn't have remembered half of those people liked yoga. So that was a huge win.
So TeamZ, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's, yes, thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Jamie, for clapping. That was awesome. TeamZ is it's not a full-on CRM, which is a customer relations management system, but it is a way to keep track of your people. So some people have that and use it to invite and keep a list. I just wrote mine on a paper this time. And I could have gone a lot faster if I would have made my list in advance, but I didn't. I just hand wrote it as I went. So anybody else want to talk about reach outs? Who did some reach outs?
70. I was trying to count, so I think I didn't make it all the way to 100, but over 50. And because what energizes me is, like, face.
I know.
So I saw somebody, at least one somebody, sometimes a couple somebodies every day. And that energized me to do the texting, or the calling or whatever, because that's what, floats my boat and gets me like, so I don't want to get up necessarily to text you, but if you'll talk to me, I want to get up, And so anyway, I was just trying to trick myself, because just, texting 100 people didn't sound like fun times to me. But once I felt like, oh, wow, I'm connecting, then I wanted to do it.
Wow, Terry, you want to share with everybody what we did yesterday?
Yes. So we went to the Working Women's Survival Show. Is that how I say it?
Yep.
And we are trying to start again. We've done it before, but start again a women's networking group in St. Charles at lunchtime. But since, the same, so we've all had that same year last year, right? And so a lot of people have, kind of fell by the wayside. So we were looking for new people who aren't afraid. And obviously if they were at the Working Women Survival show, we thought they weren't be afraid to come out. So we just went looking for local people to invite. And we found a lot of people.
We did, and we just did reach outs though. We told them what we were up to, but we were looking for local people, women mostly. And we could have done it with men probably too. We just didn't do it. And we got lots of good responses. So just some ideas. Anybody else have reach out experience?
I reached out. Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I reached out to nearly 50, and that has been my maximum to invite in at one time. And it was a really fun and good experience because, along with the comment I made earlier, I can feel myself moving forward, although it's slow. And as I'm learning to invite better into Zoom, I'm enjoying it more and more and finding a niche. And so I felt like it was good for me to really get out of my comfort zone and invite people that I felt could be intimidating, or people that I was sure would tell me no, even if it was on Messenger. But I actually had a good time with that. And I had some good responses and feedback where Amy and I were able to make some good connections. So it was time well spent.
Excellent. And that's the purpose. It's the A in AIM, the ask part. How are you? What are you up to? I haven't talked to you in a while. Let's catch up. So I have like 3 appointments on Thursday just to talk to some of these people that I haven't talked to in a while, because you can't do that on text. So so we did the ask. Anybody else have anything else they wanted to add about reach outs? Because I'm going to move on to invitations, unless somebody else wants to share a tip or an experience. It helps everybody.
I think definitely when you have something to invite into, that makes it really easy to get 100 people talk to. But so with this event tonight, it was pretty easy. However, I'm like Terry, I have to talk to people. So, to focus on people that I could get to coffee with, or, some kind of seeing them in person, or at least on Zoom.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. And those of us who love to do this face-to-face thing, or love to get people in front of the information, it took a lot of restraint on my part not to move right into the invitation process, but to stay in the reach out only. I ended up, a couple people actually invited themselves, but for the most part, that's what I did. So now I have at least 48 people that are talking to me. And I don't know about the other 52. And I didn't even put my people in yet, Terry. That's happening tomorrow that we met. So so I want to talk about invitation now. So I'm going to screen share. I made y'all a little PowerPoint. Hopefully I can find it. I have a new computer, but I didn't want to use it because I don't, oh, it's not, is that what I want?
Barry, while you're pulling that up, I'll just add that an easy reach out for me has been if I do a post in Facebook and I have people like it or comment on it, then just to reach back out to the people that commented. I sometimes forget to do that.
Yes, and somebody else needs to talk for a minute because it's going to take me a minute to find this. I don't know what happened to it. So any more ideas about invitations or reaching out?
I will say that's a really good idea on your Facebook post. I never really thought to use that as an opportunity to just message someone and say, hey, how are you? I do that on birthdays though. I always send a private message on someone's birthday.
Oh,
Or
that's
just,
good.
thanks for liking my post, or what did you like about it, or that kind of thing.
So I just recently started doing that with my Facebook stories for like events like we did tonight. Hey, you like this, or you saw it. Hey, I wanted to share with you. So that is really brave, I will say, to reach out to someone. But it created a situation where I was able to have a conversation with a trainer that doesn't really love products that can be in our industry of network marketing, but it opened the conversation for us to talk about how fruits and vegetables can really help your performance, especially in athletes. And I think that it really kind of changed our mindset on our company and our products. So I think it's worth reaching out, but it is scary to do so.
You are darn right about that. Okay, I got this ready to go now, finally. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Here is my creation for you guys, if it's gonna let me look at it from, oh, oh my goodness, I do not want to do that. All right, we might just have to look at it like this. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's going to do what I want it to do. Here we go. Sorry. All right, well, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way.
I was gonna say, Mary, if you go down to the bottom right and click on that thing that looks like a desk, kind of, yeah, there you go.
Allison, you should get free lunch for that. Now, as
Okay.
long as I can advance it. Do you see the advance?
Use your arrows on your keyboard, that'll help.
Oh, thank you. All right. That's a good thing. I might need you to come up in front of the room with me at some point since I can't figure this out. But thank you for your patience, everybody, and including everybody watching the recording. So invitations. This is how we live. Those of you that have been in this for a while, remember that we consider Juice Plus and the business a gift, like it has a big red bow on it. And we extend the invitation just like that. So good for you, Amy, for taking a big step. That if we can remember this part, oh yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift people can take or not take. Okay, so it's supposed to work now, right? Let me see what happens when I do this. It doesn't want to work. All right. I can't get it to, oh, right there. Jeez. So what do I invite to? Well, I do know how to spell product. I just didn't see that. So the first thing you invite to is a product event. You can invite to a company event. You can invite to an industry event. You can invite to a getting started event. Let me help you get started. And you can invite to a me event, an event with you, the kind Terry Schultz was talking about earlier. So a product event would be similar to what we did tonight, or it could be that you just want them to watch a video. A company event is coming up. We have conference coming up in April. It's a virtual company event. It has the product and the business, but it also has the company. Now we have an event, a PowerPoint that talks about the company. An industry event. Some of us are attending some things with Eric Worre, GoPro. That's an industry event. And a getting started event would be getting somebody started in the business, an onboarding event. And then a me event is just doing something one-on-one with somebody. So those are the 5 events you can invite into. And what do you say? Well, first of all, this is, honestly, we could have world peace if people would say this. If I did this, would you do this? If I shared this with you, if I invited you to an event, if I know you're an athlete, I've got this great event coming up. If I invited you, would you join us? There's a couple of options. I've got this great video. It's 4 minutes long. If I sent it to you, would you watch it? I've got this great opportunity. I want you to take a look at it. We can go to lunch before. If I invited you, would you go with me? So if I, would you? Very important to learn that. And then some more verbiage. It feels like sorry. If you have customers now, where most of our 85% of our team comes from our customer base, I'm not going to teach this tonight. There is a teaching and training on this. You can listen and you can look at this form, and I will post this form in the guide for this section. Mapping with the PC, that stands for Preferred Customer Genealogy Report. You can pull that report and you can map it so it tells you exactly what to do. Find those raving fan customers. Here's the parameters. Are they taking more than one product? They love the Shred 10, coming to events, sharing story with others, giving you referrals. Here's the verbiage. Here's what you would ask them. Then you underline those who would benefit from adding. Maybe they're on the duo and you want them to take the trio, etc. So these are all the ways to take a next step with one of your people. So it's connections and next steps. And remember, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask them. I don't know what happened to my picture. It has a picture on it. Remember to ask them these questions. These are the questions I always ask. And if you're inviting into a conversation or a connection call, you want to ask them, I ask, tell me about yourself and your family. Tell me about what you do. And I'll ask them also how they know the person that connected us if we're on a connection call. Tell me what you like to do for fun. And tell me, depending on what level they are, if they're a prospect and they've watched a video, we ask them about Juice Plus and what they thought, what they loved about what they saw. If they're considering the business, then we ask them a question, the M question, like, what would an extra $500 a month mean to you? So these are the things that you want to ask. Remember, we reach out, we ask first, because when you guys connect me with, it's missing slides. I don't know what happened. When you guys, I'll have to go off memory. When you guys connect me with someone or your sponsor, you connect your sponsor with someone, we want you to make sure that you ask them for the time together, but ask them and let them know that their story is important. We want to know their story first. I want to know why, what about, if it's a gratitude call, how they love their Juice Plus, if they've watched a video, what they loved about what they saw, if they're wanting to join the business, I want to ask them, those questions, because that's important to me. They don't care as much about my story. And I'll weave my story within. So the next slide actually said what to think about and to weave your story and to tell your story. So there's 4 things about your story that you might want to take a note. Allison has an incredible teaching and training in an earlier guide of getting started, but it's PLOT. And this is where I want you to unmute yourself so we can talk about this. PLOT is how you tell your story. And P stands for pain. So when you're relating to someone, like, let's say, for instance, they're a nurse like I am, and they, like Sherry Allison, her story is so similar to mine in the beginning, because you work harder and you spend more time pleasing the doctor and taking care of the patients. And when you get home, there is just no energy left for you. I love being a nurse, but that's the pain involved. So think about what you did. Allison, I know you have some pain in your story. What's the pain point? First, share your career path, and then what was the pain point there?
My background is sales and marketing, and my husband and I both commuted in opposite directions. So our kids were at daycare 11 hours a day. And I had a 3-year-old and one on the way.
Yes. So that's a pain point. Wouldn't you agree? Anybody else think about what you do? Because here's what people want to know. They want to know what brought you to the table. If you're going to weave in your story when you're talking to them, if you're at a me event, which is about you, let's go to coffee, you're going to ask them those questions, the form questions first. And then they're going to say, well, tell me about you. Well, my background's nursing, and though, here's the deal. So anybody else want to share their occupation and their pain point? You might love your job. It might be the best job in the world. I know, Jamie, you love your job. But is there a pain point for you that having a little extra income might make a difference. Is there anything, Jamie?
Oh, thank you, Mary. Um, yes, I shared with Mary that my primary pain point originally was trying to get pregnant with my son Gabriel and my Crohn's disease, and so Juice Plus was such a blessing there. So I want to share it to help those around me to experience the great nutrition I did. And then Mary encouraged me to think past that. What else could an extra $500 help me with? And I said that once a year we like to go on a vacation, and so having that extra money could definitely help to go on any a little bit better vacation than we've ever been able to do before.
Yeah, sometimes it just lets you go eat out instead of eating in. So that's fun, I think, when you're on vacation. So yes.
Very
So-
true. Mm-hmm.
So pain, so Jamie's really powerful part of her story is her product. So maybe that's where you start, you know, your pain, then the lesson. And what she found was, she can't promise it to everyone, but that she had a remarkable outcome, 2 remarkable outcomes because of Juice Plus. So in Allison's case, Allison's remarkable outcome, her lesson is she realized that, oh, I'll let you tell it, Allison. What was your lesson?
Well, I actually had something in my back pocket for a long time that I didn't take seriously because I was working in sales in corporate America and
Right.
didn't think I could make the kind of money with this that I could make there.
Right. And then the opportunity, PLOT.
I guess that would have been my opportunity, huh?
Well, your lesson was, gee, I mean, it's like Dorothy with the red shoes. I had this all the time. I just didn't think about it. And so then the opportunity was that you made the decision to take a chance, to see if you couldn't, you know, maybe even replace your income, and voila. And then the triumph is the T. So pain, lesson, opportunity, and triumph. So anybody want to share a triumph that they've had?
My husband's blood tests have gone back to normal levels.
Awesome. Any business triumph that you've had?
Definitely been able to bridge the gaps in our income. Like right now, we've been out of work for several weeks. And that's one thing that I can still count on having is my Juice Plus income.
Okay. So you can see that there's a PLOT in your product story and a PLOT in your business story. But this is your event. Remember that number 5 that I said it's the me event? That's you. And that event can be, your story can be woven in there. It's a good idea to video yourself over and over and over again, telling your story so that you can tell pieces of it, and to have a story that's around 2 minutes long, so that you and you get there's a saying, it goes, education builds belief. So that's what events do. You invite people to events. You're not the message, you're the messenger. So you invite people to events and you build education. Their education builds their belief, just like you, just like yours did. And education builds, the belief builds confidence. So you get more confident, and confidence builds excitement, and stories and excitement sells. So that event that we did tonight, those events that have the education and the stories are so powerful. And when they have more than one story and the people say the same thing, basically, and no one told them to say it, it's their story, so powerful. So you add an event like that and weave your story in, it's a very powerful. So, so I want you to invite, like you could, I mean, seriously change people's life. You have a red bow on that. I gotta at least share the last slide. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not gonna look for the slide. I'm gonna look for the picture. Ah, yes. Okay, hold on a second. I think by George. What did Jim Carrey say? Is that all you got? So there it is. All those people, this is our Long Beach picture. We went to conference. Remember those days, folks? This was before the bus picked us up to go to the party. And it was an awesome party. And every single one of those people came because somebody invited them. Somebody asked them, oh, and here's my PowerPoint. Somebody invited them. And so just imagine how different you can make somebody's outcome in their life, their triumph. You have the key to people's triumph by inviting to events. So I want you to take whatever you started last week in week 2. This is your homework. Take whatever you started. If you did 5, if you did 10, if you did 15 reach outs, and I want you to expand the reach outs if possible. And then I want you to start inviting to the next event. So we have some events coming up, and we have a leadership meeting tomorrow. So no worries, we'll provide you with that. But remember, it's a product event, and you can create your own. Call your upline and say, I want to do a One Simple Change event, just you and me. I want to tell my story. There's a chance to PLOT yourself and tell your story and get something on the calendar. But a One Simple Change product event. Next week is going to be a team training on Monday night. It'll be the first Monday of the month. So that'll be for you. But there are Thursday night events. The company has them, and there's 5 Mondays in March. 3 of those Mondays will be One Simple Change events, where we also mention the business. So you can do a business event. You can start people up in the business. That's called an onboarding or getting started event. You can get with your sponsor and find out what is Eric Worre doing right now. There may be a free event that you can be a part of. Catherine Lee, I can share the recording from Saturday. That's more of a network marketing event. And then, of course, there's the Me events that a lot of you said you really love. Any questions about that? So for those of you who want to really, really kick fear to the curb, you could think about 50 invitations or 100 invitations or whatever, a little bit more than what makes you comfortable. Do not be comfortable in this, because the outcome that you're looking for is to be confident, to tell your story, to hear other people's stories, and to get people on board. Really, honestly, we have a gift here that is priceless. Anybody have any questions or comments? No? Everybody's good? Everybody ready to go? Raren, I'll tell you my secret for 100. Jeanette, you're going to be so proud of me. I did spinning class. I'm terrible at it, terrible, but I pedaled the whole time. Anyway, and then I had more energy. So it was a good thing. So do something. I wouldn't recommend caffeine. That doesn't work. You don't want to do that every day. So next month, we'll have a Shred 10 event, a pregnancy event, and one other event for sure, along with our Wins and Wows and training on Monday nights. So that you can always build into those, or different events, but you can always build into those. And we'll have the list for you tomorrow. Anybody else have a word for us? Ashlyn Hotop, you're cracking me up, girl. You were just upside down. Anybody have any comments or questions?
I just want to say how helpful this is, even having been around for so long. It's just so good to review and have it put in front of me again. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Is what I want to say.
You're welcome very much, Vicki. And I know a couple of people contacted me last week. They're doing Eric Worre. They're doing all this stuff. A lot is going on, and they're like, whoa. I said, put the brakes on.
Love you.
And let's keep the main thing the main thing. if right now is what you want to do is help people, help yourself and help people until you have a customer, you don't have a business. So education and learning is all fantastic. But if you find yourself, if it takes you out of your DMO and your A activity, which is talking to people, reaching out, inviting, asking, connecting, if it's taking you away from that too much, then sometimes you just got to do the do. You just got to do it. Because the act of doing it, it erases the fear, seriously, and you get excited. So thank you for that comment, Vicki. But that's what I do. When it starts to get like, I start to get right here and I'm not even treading water anymore. I'm like, nope, I'm going back to, so I just really focused on these invitations and that. I really am, I really want to help as many of you as possible make that extra $500 or more a month. So we're going to keep track. I set up my whiteboards, new whiteboards. I have 2 old whiteboards. If somebody wants them, you can have them. I had to get different ones. So that's what I know today. Thank you all for being patient with me with my, I will find the PowerPoint and post that, and I'll get the guides updated. Any words of wisdom to close us out tonight? Somebody help me.
World doesn't benefit from you playing small.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, Kathy. All right. Y'all have sweet dreams and a juicy week, and I'll talk to you soon. Good night, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, Mary.